Sliced to left field, and it's another chance for Mitchell, and he makes a barehanded catch!
With baseball season finished up, the off-season is a time to practice the basics to not become too rusty once preseason rolls around. Our instructional video aims to practice and improve multiple fielding scenarios for beginners and intermediate baseball players. These players know all the basic rules and actions for baseball, however, they lack the consistent accuracy, speed, and decision-making that experts have. This instructional video will help these three characteristics of the players' games, specifically focusing on pop flies, grounders, and line drivers, and thrown balls. This instructional video will progress through an approximate 2-hour practice session that is done in more of a solo setting, not so team-based for infielders. Practice will begin with a warm-up and continue all the way through to multiple game-like scenarios. A successful performance would be defined as a good catch without fumbling the ball and a quick reception of a grounder. As we progress through drills, an accurate throw is necessary as well.
The subject will begin with a full body warm-up. This includes light jog, karaoke, backpedaling, and lunges. The subject will then warm up his or her own arm and stretch again. Once warmed up, the subject will perform block trials of the 3 motor skills we are focusing on: pop fly catches, line drive catches, and lastly grounders. The block practice is done at the beginning of the warm-up to help boost the subject's self-confidence. During this block trial, the block practice trial will consist of receiving 30 pop flies, 30 line drives or straight throws, and 30 grounders. The subject is simply focused on receiving the ball. We do not instruct the subject to make any difficult throws. For the pop flies, the subject is instructed to take the first step back, call for the ball, keep the glove up, and see the ball into the glove. For the line drive, the subject is instructed to reach out for the ball, watch the ball go into the glove. For the grounder, the subject is instructed to stay low, like sitting on a chair, stay in front of the ball, don't reach out for the ball, watch the ball into the glove, and shuffle your feet to get in front of the ball. With this block practice schedule, the subject should be performing strong since contextual interference is low and there's no variability. All balls were hit or thrown to a relative same location at a relative same speed.
The next portion of the practice is done in a serial pattern. When the coach hits or throws a pop fly, a line drive straight throw, and a grounder in that order, this was repeated over and over until the subject was able to properly field at least 90% of the trials. A serial practice style increases contextual interference because there is a switch between each variable performed. However, this is still relatively easier for the subject since he can predict what is coming next. Difficulty is increased in this practice period by making the fielding space much larger. The ball that is hit will now not come directly to the subject. He will have to react much faster now to the ball to perform the drill properly. The subject will also have to complete a throw to first base after every ball fielded. This adds more contextual interference to the drill. With this increase in difficulty, the subject's performance may drop at first, however, his performance should increase and level out after a few trials. Once the performer has a relative success of about 70%, we can switch to a new drill. 70% would be successful for intermediate players.
The last practice schedule will consist of a random practice period in which any of the motor skills will have to be performed randomly. The practice period is going to have the highest amount of switches along with the highest factor for unpredictability. Since the balls are going to be coming in any order for the subject, the cognitive processing is going to be explained by the action plan reconstruction theory. Each time the ball is hit, the subject must problem solve what to do immediately. This drill is started off by hitting any kind of ball to the subject and making them complete a throw to first base. Once again, the subject may perform errors more frequently. You do not want to have the subject miss too many balls or throws. However, you do not want to make every throw and catch, aiming to make it so the subject performs correctly 8 out of 10 times. As the performer continues, you can hit the balls harder and to larger areas. This will make the subject decrease reaction time and movement time to get to where the ball is. To increase the difficulty, the contextual interference can also be increased by changing the location of the throws. Instead of always throwing to first, we tell them to throw to different bases as the ball is hit. The point of this is to make it as game-like as possible.